Hey, good morning everybody, and welcome to the vlog. My girl Ivy actually shed out, she normally does a really good job of shedding out in one piece. Today she just shed out in a bunch of little pieces all over the place. Hey girl, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, I cannot believe it. We gotta obviously clean up her enclosure and stuff like that, but wow, I tell you what, she is just such an impressive animal. I mean, gosh, I never thought I would own an anaconda that size, but I am so happy that I have her. She's incredible, so we'll get her cage cleaned up. But I gotta tell you guys something, it is now crunch time. And what I mean by that is that we have been working on fish for the last couple months, getting a list together of what we need at the Legasea Aquarium. Of course, we will have actually Gira, these Dr. Fish too. We'll actually have 4 of these stands here. We have 2 of them at the Reptarium. We're going to have 4 of them at the Legasea Aquarium. But it's not just the Dr. Fish that we have ordered. We put together a list of about 90% of the tropical fish that we're going to need through the entire place. And guess what? I just sent a deposit out for them to start getting together. And now we have a delivery date. And that delivery date, when they're actually going to ship them up and deliver them to the Legasea Aquarium, is actually the last week of January. And that date is a pretty hard date because the company we're going with actually starts to collect the fish, they quarantine the fish, and they actually truck them up in a special truck that costs a ton of money, by the way, to get them shipped up. The fact is that we can't now put them off, right? Because now that we put a deposit in, they have it locked in for that date. We can't say, hey, guess what? You can hang on to 3,000 fish for us for an extra 2 weeks. Basically, we have no choice but to get done by the end of January and have fish in tank by then, which is absolutely insane. And of course, I'm sure a lot of you guys realize that you just can't put water in a tank and throw fish in right away. You have to cycle that tank. Typically, it takes anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to actually cycle a tank. Now, you can speed up that cycle a little bit by adding bacteria. You can also take media from other tanks that are already cycled and use them in filtration. That works out really well. Realistically, if we're looking at 8, maybe 9 weeks till delivery, somewhere in that range, we probably have about 7 weeks before we have to have all the tanks in and all the tanks ready to have water in them. So yeah, it's kind of stressing me out. Now that we have the date, now it's like, oh my gosh, we have a lot to get done. Now, I know you guys might be saying it seems impossible that we can get these tanks and get everything in here. What you have to remember is, the build tanks that Ahmed is doing, which by the way, they're back tomorrow, that takes a lot of time. The other tanks, like these bridge tanks here, the cylinder tanks, the shark tank, all that stuff, it takes time, but the majority of them are actually done and ready to go. So once they get in, it's just a matter of setting them, plumbing them, putting water in, and turning it on. I mean, again, it's not that simple. But the fact is that we have the majority of the tanks, which are way more than we have now. You guys are just seeing the Stingray tank, the saltwater predator tank. You're seeing these tanks over here. We have tons of tanks that have already been built, that are in Texas, that are in California, obviously from Italy with the shark tank that's getting shipped over, that's now in the country. Those tanks are ready to go. They just have to come in, get set up, get filtered, and then we're ready to go. But we can't do that until we get all of this trenching filled in. So we have to make sure that the plumbing is done, which we ran into a little bit of a snag on again, but I think we have it all figured out now. We just have to change up the drainage a little bit so that we have enough pressure for when we're backflowing things and draining tanks and stuff like that, we don't have overflows. Because what you don't want is, you don't want to be doing a water change over here and having water come up a drain over here. So now that we've got that kind of figured out, I think it's going to be resolved within the next couple days. We can get the inspector out here, I think in 2 days, and then we can actually backfill all of these and get cement down. Once we get the cement down, then we can start to grind the floors, which is getting ready for the epoxy. That doesn't come until the very end, but you need to grind and get the floors ready for epoxy before you put exhibits in. Then we can start shipping all the exhibits up. So realistically, I think we're about 2 weeks away from the majority of the exhibits getting shipped up here and getting set in place. 2 weeks from now, this place is going to look a lot different. And don't get me wrong, there's still a ton of other things that need to get done. We got to get all the rest of the walls up. We've got to get the HVAC with the heating and cooling done. We've got to get tons of electrical done. We've got to then get the finished plumbing done. But the fact is that once the floors are done and all the major construction is out of the way, we can actually start putting tanks in, getting them filtered, getting them cycled, and start getting ready for fish, even if the rest of the place still has a lot going on. As a matter of fact, we'll be building the back part over here where the birthday party rooms are, the capybara exhibit and the tortoise exhibit, really after everything is in. It's going to be the last things we could do because we can't build anything here if we have to bring in giant tanks over here, right? So we have to keep that area open so we can bring in these giant exhibits, none less than Salt and Peppers exhibit, which is 20 foot by 10 foot by 7 foot tall. It has to get in that door, has to come all the way over here and get behind that koi pond into the reptile section. Well, obviously, if we build the party rooms over here and the capybara and tortoise exhibit over here, we're not going to be able to get the exhibit in, and then what are we going to do? So we have to build everything out from this side over, and then after we get everything, then we can build the birthday party rooms, the capybara exhibit, and those will be the last things, and then we actually epoxy the floor. But by then, we can have fish in almost all of the tanks and get going. So I know it seems like an ambitious goal, but now that we have a date, we have no choice but to get it. And I kind of feel like this section of the building always is getting lost because we never really over here, we're not talking about it. We're not trenching floors, we don't need plumbing, we don't need anything. But this is the reptile section, and you guys might be thinking like, what's going on with that? Well, Universal Rocks, my buddy Stuart down there and Tom are doing a great job of building out the exhibits. They've been sending me videos and pictures, absolutely incredible. So I think within the next couple weeks, we'll get our first exhibit shipped up here and start to actually fill this walls out here. Now we have to again grind the floors before we get those exhibits in. So this could probably get ground here within the next week or so because we have no trenching on this side. So once we grind this whole section, we obviously have to move all this stuff around so it's out of our way, but we could grind this. We could start getting our shipments from Universal Rock with all the reptile enclosures, at least starting to get those set, get those going while they're working on the fish side. So I hate to skip over the reptiles because again, the reptiles are the big part of the zoo, right? So reptile zoo and an aquarium. So the reptile part is definitely something that is super important to me. And I'm really excited about the reptile enclosures that Stuart at Universal Rock is making us. Every time I walk by Stitch's enclosure, I've got to take him out just because he's just so amazing. He's so incredible. I mean, look at this cool animal. I mean, how awesome is that? I never thought in a million years I would own something as amazing as a binturong. Don't get me wrong, I love all our mammals and I love all our reptiles too, but he's just something amazing. And like I was saying about getting things done too, a meds team shows up tomorrow. They're going to be here all the way till the middle of December working, getting everything done. It's going to be painted, it's going to be themed, there's going to be coral added, everything. The only thing they're going to have to come back for is the capybara and tortoise exhibit, and that's ready to go. That's probably going to be sometime in the middle of January or something on that line. In the meantime, what are you doing, Stitch? Listen to him. I just love that noise he makes. It's like some exotic animal, you know? It's like a cat mixed with some weird animal. I mean, he is just absolutely incredible. I love the fact that he likes to knead on my hoodie. Now, I know the trainers probably wouldn't be happy that I let him chew on my hoodie because we're trying to get him to stop doing chewing and stuff like that, but he's just absolutely amazing. Stitchy, I love you, buddy. Come on, Stitch, let's go talk to Lori. So, Lori, did you realize that, I know we put a deposit in on the fish, yeah, but that means that the delivery is about maybe like 9 weeks away. So are you stressed at all? As I am, a little bit stressed about the fact that we have to have water in tanks about 7 weeks from now.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm stressed literally about everything.
Really?
Yeah, we're at that point now. You know what I mean? It's crunch time, so many things have to happen, and I think every single week is stressful. But yeah, believe me. When I sent that money off, at heart palpitations.
So the big question is, do you think we're going to be able to do it?
I mean, we have no choice. Like, we have to. Otherwise, they're gonna. I don't think the fish can live in buckets. So no. Like, we need to have this stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, we have our work cut out for us. Stitch, are you going to help, or are you just going to be a trouble all the time? Hey, buddy. Now he's at a point where he doesn't necessarily really need the nutrition from the bottle. It's more like the bonding between us and our keepers and stuff like that for him. Just kind of a way to keep him tame and calm and stuff like that. So he's completely at that point where he doesn't need it and he could eat, you know, all his veggies and all that type of stuff. But he does love his bottle and it's so cute to feed him. Oh, you're sucking it down quick, buddy. That's it, Stitchy. All right. Playtime. Come on, Stitchy. Oh, you're so funny. Come on, get buddy. Back home, bud. I realized that recently, you know, we talk about the legacy so much and we talk about fish, but I don't want you to think that we're giving up on reptiles. Obviously, we're going to be a reptile zoo, like I had mentioned, and reptiles are so important. So as we're actually downsizing some areas of BHB, we're actually upsizing some areas of the Reptarium too. You got to remember that we're actually acquiring animals to be over here at the Reptarium because a lot of these animals are going to move across the street. Now, not to mention we have to do a bunch of educational animals as well, right? The tegus are amazing. Now, Terrence here, he's probably going to stay right here at the Reptarium, but we need a tegu over at the Legasea Aquarium. Not to mention we need a couple other tegus that go out on birthday parties too, right? What we're trying to do is build this kind of group of like animals here at the Reptarium, animals at the new reptile zoo at the Legacy, and then 2, maybe even 3 groups of educational animals. That way we could do birthday parties or we could do scouting events or whatever the case may be. And we can actually have more than one group going out at a time. So actually we have Terrence as one of our tegus. Then of course we have Goldie, our beautiful tegu that our buddies at Tiki's Gecko actually gifted to us. She is an absolutely amazing tegu. Now she'll probably be one of our educational animals in our groups that go out to birthday parties. I have a real special tegu that Lori bought me that'll probably go over to the Legacy. And that of course is Snow White that's just having a little munchie right now. Snow White is a blue tegu, an Argentine blue tegu, and one of the prettiest Argentine blue tegus that I've ever seen. And again, Lori actually got this for me, so this animal will probably be a great display animal over at the Legacy. Then we just had someone actually gift us this little monkey right here, and it's a beauty of an animal for sure. This is an Argentine red tegu. Now I've always loved the Argentine red tegus, but to have one that's tame like this is even better. better because we had one that just wasn't that good. It was a little cheeky, so we didn't use it for education. Now we have a beautiful Argentine red tegu that'll be another animal for our educational team. And speaking of red tegus, our buddy Brandon actually gifted us this one. This is a pure Argentine red albino tegu. There's hardly any of these in the entire world, so it's really cool to be gifted this animal here. And it's a little boy, so he's going to grow up and be really cool too. Needs a little work with handling, but he's taming down pretty good now. But so like I said, we have kind of a lot of animals that we've been adding as well. Not just Argentine tegus, we have tons of other education animals we've been adding and trying to acquire new animals to replace the animals that we're going to move from the Reptarium to Legacy. So we are definitely not downsizing in most spots, just in the BHB side. When it comes to other animals, we're still upsizing a lot. Also, I know a lot of people have been asking lately how RJ is doing, and he's doing really good actually. Will we have him over at Legacy? Probably not. Will he be at the Reptarium? I don't know. I would love to do something with him because this pond is getting a little bit small for him, no doubt about it. It's still plenty big. He's got quite a bit of room, the depth and everything else is fine. But I would like to do something for him. So what exactly I'm going to do, I'm not sure. Whether that's putting him over at Legacy or putting him at the Reptarium or maybe just expanding this pond as we get more room when we downsize BHB. Not 100% sure, but RJ is doing amazing. Look at how big he's getting. What an absolutely beautiful animal. Wow. I remember when I got him and he was just 2 weeks old when he lost his arm, and he's just been amazing. I can't imagine life without RJ. So there's your little RJ update. So let me know what you guys think, which by the way, I was walking by and saw this animal and thought, oh my goodness, this is actually an axanthic hognose that's het for snow. I'll tell you what, still, you know, when I walk by these enclosures, I still see snakes, they pop out. We still love them. I still am so excited about it. But let me know in the comments what you think. We have a little more than 2 months before fish arrive. Will we be able to make that deadline? I mean, we have no choice, right? We have no choice, but let me know if you guys think we'll get there. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's a playlist that you can watch all kinds of videos. You can also hit that subscription button. It would mean a lot to me. Also, hit that like button while you're down there. Have a wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember, be kind to someone, and I promise I'll see you in the next one.